Well, you don't have to fly to the UK to get your fill. The British Food Month celebration has been brought to the country. Pia Bonalos is in Makati now to tell us more about this event. Good morning, Pia.
Good morning, Claire. I am dreaming of England this morning, and today I'm going to go on a British food trip. And like I said earlier, well, my knowledge of British food is quite limited. I only know about their tea and fish and chips, but today I will learn about the whole world of food that they have to offer. With me is British Ambassador Asif Ahmad, the General Manager of Dusit Thani Manila, Alex Willets, and Chef Derek Quelch to tell us all about the world of British food. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Ambassador, let's start with British Food Month. Can you tell me about it? What is it exactly?
Yeah, well, we thought that having shown you theatre, having shown you books, having shown you our fashion and our cars, this is an opportunity to do something quite different, which is to bring British food right here in the heart of Manila so that people can actually taste and experience our cuisine. Yes, fish and chips is famous and well known, and people should carry on having that and enjoying it, but we have such an immense variety of food. And over the last 10 to 15 years, catering and restaurant food in the UK has improved by a long way, mainly because we just borrow things from everybody. You know, whether it's how to cook seasonal vegetables and keep them fresh, how to add Indian spices, how to use some of the way in which food is presented and make it very appetizing and appealing. So I think people will enjoy the experience.
Can you tell me a little bit about what meals are like when you actually dine in England? Because like I said, all I know is about tea and sometimes scones and maybe some cakes. Can you tell me about meals?
I think it's to do with the weather. You know, in the deep heart of winter, people like something heartening and fulfilling. So you'll have much more what I call provincial food. You know, where it's nice stews from whether it's from Lancashire or from elsewhere. At other times, particularly in the summer months, people like to have something a bit lighter. So a pie is quite nice, and then of course our own salads and other things, so it's healthy options are there as well. And we mustn't forget, because we're an island nation, we have plenty of fish dishes as well, and people know a lot about sole and other fish. And the challenge for us nowadays, of course, is to make sure that we eat responsibly too, so that we don't overfish. So there's a lot going on in our cooking, which is not just about eating and consuming, but also sustaining what we eat.
What is your favorite dish?
I love fish, whether it's in the Philippines, whether it's in the UK, put a piece of fish in front of me and you won't see anything apart from the bones.
Well, that's how I like to enjoy my fish as well. What do we have in store for British Month? So what are the activities you have lined up?
We're going to carry on having started in October right through to March, and the grand finale will be in Bonifacio High Street, where you will see British fashion, promotion of tourism and cars, and almost a summary of everything we've actually done so far, which really has touched so many aspects of what we do, our creativity, our business acumen, and the connection that we have through education.
And one of your partners is also, of course, Dusit Thani Manila. And Alex Willets is here to tell us about it. What are the offerings of Dusit Thani Manila for British Month?
Well, Pia, we were extremely proud and privileged to be partnering with the British Embassy in the great campaign particularly for food. And being a hotel and hospitality environment, it's something that we obviously do on a day-to-day basis. So we will be doing our traditional afternoon tea. You mentioned scones, so of course, you know, we couldn't go without providing something like that. And we're working closely with Twinings to offer a traditional afternoon tea in our lobby lounge this week between the 13th and 17th. Every Sunday in this month we'll also be doing a great British carvery, because that's something that the British do extremely well. Ambassador mentioned that real kind of wholesome, hearty food, and that's really what it is. It's comfort food on a Sunday. Come together with your family and friends and really enjoy a great British carvery. And really the culmination is of the food campaign for us is this week here in Tosca at the Dusit Thani, 13th to 17th, where we have Chef Derek Quelch sitting to my left here, one of the finest British chefs in the UK, who's really going to be putting together a grouping of dishes that perhaps people are not really familiar with, and really showcasing the great tastes, textures and ingredients of British cuisine that are happening at the moment. So that's what we're doing here at Dusit Thani Manila this month.
That sounds really exciting. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you mentioned about Sundays, that the carvery? So what there are waiters who go around and you could just carve your food out of straight from the dishes, the tray?
What it is, it's really an extension of our usual brunch. in the UK, we typically gather on a Sunday. It used to be around the family table, and now people have sort of started to move outside as people's tastes and preferences have changed. So, you know, the traditional kind of pubs, restaurants now serve an extensive sort of carvery menu, centres around roast food. So typically we will have beef, we have lamb, we have pork, we do Yorkshire puddings, something again that perhaps people are not familiar with here in the Philippines. Come down and try it at Basics during our carvery session. Roast potatoes, lots of different vegetables. So really a variety of different roast meats and foods in there. And again, it's that kind of comfort food around the table with friends and family for people to come and enjoy. We'll also be showcasing some of the British beers as well that we'll also have on offer at the same time.
Wow, okay, that just really made my mouth water, but you know, I can't really drink beer this early, but I'm excited about the food we have here, and we do have Chef Derek Welch right here, who, like I mentioned earlier, did serve the family of Kate Middleton before the wedding. What can you share with us about the Middleton family?
Middleton family were very pleasant people. Just as you see on the television, they are very honest, down-to-earth people, very polite, very respectful. Very appreciative of what people do for them. Yes, so as I said, as you see on the television and in the media, that's exactly what they're like.
Did they enjoy the food that you served them?
I hope so. They said they did, so that's a good thing. And they came back afterwards, so they've been back a few times. Yes, you know, they were very, very complimentary when they left.
Oh, I bet. And Kate Middleton, how is she in person? Is she as gorgeous as she looks on TV?
Oh, she's absolutely stunning. And the personality to go with it as well. I mean, she's very, very, very calm. I was chatting to her the night before her wedding, and she was extremely calm. And she's very aware of other people around her as well. Yeah, so she's a very charming person.
Wow, okay. Before we get carried away with all the gossip about the Middletons, of course we have a lot of food right here, and this is like my crash course into British food. Chef, can you tell me about the dish we have right here?
Okay, what I've done really is try to give a selection of some traditional British foods and some more sort of up-to-date modern food. So the one on the far end there, that's a cured mackerel with avocado puree and pickled cucumber. The mackerel is cured in salt and lemon for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we mix it with some capers and some creme fraiche. And then, you know, the history of cooking, really the roots lie around the war times when there wasn't any refrigeration, and so there was lots of pickling and preservation and smoking of foods to preserve them. So, you know, the pickling of cucumber, it's just really taking those things and modernizing them. So the pickling, the cucumber is soaked in white wine vinegar, some pepper, mustard seeds, you know, and then cooked and cooled down. And then we just soak the cucumber in them.
And then there's a touch of avocado right there, which I think would give like a nice light taste and flavor to it as well. And then right here in the middle, this is a starter as well.
Yes, that's a starter. That's a ham knuckle terrine with piccalilli. Again, the piccalilli is it's like it's a cross between a pickle and a chutney.
Okay.
And it's basically cauliflower, cucumber and onions, and you salt them overnight to take all the moisture out. And then you mix them with a sauce of cumin and turmeric, vinegar, pepper.
All right,
Okay.
that's something that's really new to me, and I hear that this is something traditionally served in Britain, I mean. Piccalilli, it's called.
Piccalilli.
So it's
Not to be confused with Piccadilly.
okay. Yeah,
Which is a famous street in London.
That's the thing. I was almost going to say that. Okay, looking at it, I thought it was like corn, but now I see the cauliflower. It's very tangy.
But you see, the tanginess works well with the terrine, and that's just ham knuckles that have been brined, and then we soak them for 36 hours, and then we cook them in stock with pig's trotters and a pig's head. Then once it's cooked, we flake the meat off the bone and we reduce down the cooking liquor, and then we get a natural jelly that comes from the head and the feet and the knuckles, and that jelly is then just set onto the meat and then set off in the fridge overnight.
it does really do go really well together. Like the tanginess does complement the pork right there, and that flavor, it just stays in your mouth. It tastes really, really good. Thank you, Chef. How about this dish right here?
Well, this one is sort of an extension, a modern extension of, as Alex mentioned, roast pork. So it's a belly of pork that's been slowly roasted for about 2.5 hours, and then apple sauce and braised red cabbage. Red cabbage, as the ambassador mentioned, red cabbage is something hearty in the winter months in the UK, and it's just red cabbage that's marinated in red wine and cinnamon and cloves and orange juice for 36 hours.
Wow.
And then we cook it down very slowly and finish with a little bit of red currant jelly. And this is a fondant potato, which is potato cooked in stock with some butter and an apple sauce in the middle. In the UK, roast pork and apple sauce are accompaniments that go well together.
Yeah, it sounds really hearty, and that's something that we would love to indulge in. And of course, you can't have a full meal without dessert. Can you tell me about the dessert we have right here?
The dessert is very good for your waistline. It's a traditional pudding, and in the UK we're famous for sponges and heavy puddings. Again, going back to the wartime when there was no money or there wasn't much food around, lots of rationing. This was part of the staple diet, so this was the only way that people got any sort of form of carbohydrate. So the sticky toffee pudding is a date sponge. We make a date puree with a traditional sponge, sugar, butter, flour, eggs, and then it's baked off in the oven. And then we make a nice sticky toffee sauce from sugar with a little bit of butter and cream. And then we serve clotted cream, which is very, really is something special that comes out of the UK, and it's a high fat content.
Looking at it, I thought it was ice cream, but that's really just cream.
Thick, stodgy cream.
Oh, okay. So like you said, good for waistline.
This is the cream that you would traditionally serve with scones and afternoon tea. So anybody that's had scones before with the thick cream on, it's exactly the same cream.
Wow, okay. So when you're ready to indulge, you don't have to really think of anything but just really enjoy British food. Chef, do you think that the world is ready to, accept all these kinds of food from Britain?
Well, as the ambassador said, that cooking has really moved on in the last 15, 20 years. And I think really British food is at the forefront of world cooking now. And there's so many British restaurants and people serving such good food, and the way that as I said, the food is now modernized. It's much lighter, in line with people's health issues, people's diets, and much more aware of what people are much more aware of what they want to eat. So there is something for everybody. If you want a traditional tour of British cooking, then we can give you that, but there's also the lighter touches as well, or a mix of both. So I think that yes, the world is ready for British cooking, and I feel very proud to be here promoting it as well.
Yeah, Alex, how are the people responding to these kinds of food that you're serving right now here at Lucid Penny, Manila?
Well, we actually start today. On Tuesday, we serve our first lunch service. So Derek will be serving lunch and dinner throughout this week. And on Friday night, it culminates with a 7-course tasting menu, which is, as Derek said, a little selection of some of the different dishes he'll be presenting this week. We do have limited portions of some items, so we urge people, if they do want to come down and try us early. And Derek will be adjusting the menu throughout the week. So if diners or your viewers want to come and try more than once, there'll be a little bit of an alteration on the menu for them throughout the week.
Okay, so do they just call the hotel to reserve a slot?
Absolutely. Either call the hotel or come on down to the Dusit Thani Manila. It's a Tosca restaurant. We start serving lunch from 12 o'clock and dinner will be served from 6. And we'd love to see as many people down here coming down, trying the food, and obviously they have a chance to meet Derek as well.
Oh yeah, and you could chat a little bit about the Middleton family, which I'm trying to do. And of course, Ambassador, can you tell me, do you think that the Filipinos are ready to accept this kind of food, and how do you think they would be, celebrating British Month?
I mean, one of the biggest surprises for me when I arrived in Manila was the quality of food here in the Philippines. And every time I go out, I enjoy more and more. And as I was saying before, British cuisine adapts and changes. And each time a great chef like Derek comes to this country, what he's also doing is picking up hints and things of what he could do. So, I mean, I was looking at the dishes over here, and I could say that you could use Filipino mackerel. You could use parts of lechon to do that. You could look at liempo and maybe convert that. Maybe use palm sugar for the dessert. And you can think about these things and just tweak it and adapt it a little bit. So if we had Filipino week in a big hotel in London, you could take these influences and change them. So I think what I'm really saying is that Filipinos diners will find things that are familiar, things that are adapted to their taste, or things that they imagine to be classic British food, and they'll find that there too. And if they're really, really adventurous, they can have black pudding and haggis as well.
Well, I'd be adventurous enough to taste that and find that out for myself. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing it with me this morning. And there you have it. For those of you who are as excited as I am to try all the British food you can try, you know where to go just here in Dusetani, Manila. Claire Amelin?
Thanks, Pia. I just can't help but notice it's our friend there, Ambassador
Asif
Ahmad.
Ahmad.
Him and his British. It looks really good, though.
I would like to try the clotted cream. I'm actually very curious. I mean, how different is it from the usual like whipped cream that we have in our coffee or in some of the desserts? Clotted cream.
Yeah,
the
I've
sticky
never
toffee
tried
pudding.
that.
I've tried making it once. It's pretty good. It's easy as well.
Really?
I'll give you the
tried?
recipe.
Yeah, she's a good cook. Like she says so. So
That's
we'll
what I
find out.
say.
So bring that recipe. Bring that dish here.
I'll
so
bring.
we'll
I'll
know.
try to see if I could recreate what my sister-in-law made one time, and that's a sticky toffee pudding.
Okay, you bring that one day. You promise. Okay. So when we come back.